What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we are going to be discussing the new hotness, the new thing on the block, the number legendary future war called auto rifle. I'm seeing this weapon absolutely everywhere in PvP and in PvE, but is this weapon actually worth using? And especially, is it worth using over its competitors? Or is the number getting a lot of usage just because it's new, it's shiny, it looks cool, and people are trying to rep their favorite faction? Well, let's talk about it. And first, let's take a look at the number's stats. The first stat that should stand out to all of you is that 450 rounds per minute rate of fire. That's good. That automatically, this weapon is now top tier. And that's something I want you guys to remember for the entirety of the video. The number, when we look at all weapons in Destiny, all legendary weapons on the table, the number is definitely on the higher end of the spectrum. It has overall decent stats, like decent range, actually kind of lower for its archetype, decent stability, okay reload speed, okay handling. But just because it does have that 450 rounds per minute rate of fire, it hits hard, it's pretty accurate, and it's just going to get the job done in most PvP or PvE scenarios. But things get a little bit worse when we talk about its competition. Now, the stats are pretty average, so let's take a look at the perks here. Firstly, precision frame as an intrinsic perk, that's very good. You want this definitely when you're talking about a 450 auto rifle. Also, it's got ricochet rounds to increase the range by, a decent amount. Ricochet rounds is overall a decent perk. And then we've got the interesting part. We've got the perk in the last slot that really differentiates this weapon from the other 450 auto rifles. It's high impact reserves. Rounds at the end of the magazine deal more damage. Well, is that good? Let's take a look at the number in PvE, because PvE should be the place where high impact reserves absolutely shines. Like, you're shooting enemies non-stop for the entire magazine, all in the crit, like if you're fighting a big boss in a public event. So high impact reserves, I mean, that thing's gonna ramp up and do overall a decent amount of damage, right? Right? Well, not right. It turns out high impact reserves really doesn't do much, and you can see it in the background gameplay. Like, it'll be doing 50 damage and then suddenly it does 51, and then we're doing 52 near the end. Oh boy, right? It just doesn't ramp up by that much. Now, if you start to do 50 damage and then we get down to the bottom half of the magazine, then it's doing 51, then it's doing 52, 53, 54, and the end bullets are doing, 60 or 70. Whoa, hold on. Then we've got an interesting discussion on our hands. We've got a legitimate talk about, is this thing actually good? Should in PvP, should you be like shooting off the first half of the magazine to get that super high DPS, all of that stuff? But it really doesn't come up that much. It really is a perk that isn't that good. It sounds good. When you read it, you're like, whoa, hold on, more damage? Sign me up. But in reality, and we're talking about PvE and showing gameplay of PvE, this is where you can just, plant your sights on an enemy and just go to town on his head. In PvP, that's not the case. So in PvP, high impact reserves is going to come up even less than in PvE. So that's not great. You have a perk that's extremely mediocre in PvE and even more mediocre in PvP. And that is a problem with this weapon. Overall, again, it's a good weapon, but then when we start to look at its competitors, we look at something like the origin story. Much better range, not hard to control because it also has precision frame, and it's got rampage. Rampage increases the damage by an actual significant margin, stacks up to 3 times every time you kill an enemy. So you don't have to worry about shooting most of the rounds in your magazine and then potentially being caught reloading. You just kill one guy, then move to the next guy. Or rampage even lasts long enough that you can kill one guy, reload, start shooting the next guy while also getting that rampage bonus. So, that is a big factor. And then we look at something like the Uriel's Gift. The Uriel's Gift has high caliber rounds. You flinch more when you are getting hit with the Uriel's gift. If you have the number and someone is shooting you with the Uriel's gift, it's not going to work out well for you. You are at a huge disadvantage in that gunfight, and that is definitely a factor. And then the Uriel's gift, its final perk is tap the trigger. You get a boost to your accuracy with your initial trigger pull. So every time you start shooting a target with the Uriel's gift, it's going to be more accurate. And compare that to high impact reserves, I think tap the trigger is going to overall be better. And you combine that with high caliber rounds, and then it's definitely better. So, overall, is the numbers usage rate basically because it's new? Yes, it just is. It's a good weapon in the grand scope of things. I still really think that if you don't have a 450 rounds per minute auto rifle and you pick up the number, you're going to be extremely happy. Heck, you're going to be watching this video going, what is this guy talking about? But then you're going to get the Uriel's gift or the origin story, and then you're going to try that out, and then you're going to go, oh, okay, I understand exactly what he's talking about. And lastly, I want to say, Bungie, please buff high impact reserves. If that perk actually increased the damage by a significant margin, we'd be having a legitimate discussion about its usage. And that's really what you want. You want a huge discussion amongst the community about which gun is better, and you don't want there to be a clear answer. That is true balance. All these different options, all legitimately vying for the top slot. So a buff to high impact reserves would suddenly make the number very, very competitive. So I'd love to see that. In any event, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found it informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoy the video, and as always, have a good day.